students, welcome to the online session or the subject of structural analysis. This subject of structural analysis is mainly for the student of structural engineering. Basically, in design of any kind of a structure, first of all analysis is required to be done. If the analysis of the structure is done properly, then the design of the structure can be done properly. So basically, we can say that structural analysis is very important subject for the structural engineering students. So let's start with this important subject of structural analysis. So 3, 2, 1. Let's start. Welcome to our session. Let's start with today's content. So basically, we are going to discuss the definition, important definitions that we are going to discuss in today's session. At the same time, we will be also discussing different types of loads that are acting on the structure. There are different types of supports which the structure have. We will be discussing all that type of supports. We will be discussing different types of beams, and we will be also discussing the bendings. These are all the contents that we are going to discuss. So, first, let's start with the definition. First important definition is beam. What is beam? Beam is basically a structural member which is subjected to the transverse load. Whenever a structure is there, a horizontal member is there, whenever such kind of member is being loaded with the transverse load, then such kind of structure is said to be a beam. Now, from this definition, a question can arise in the student that what is a transverse load? So, let's discuss what is transverse load. Basically, transverse load is the load which is perpendicular or it is at a non-zero component perpendicular to the longitudinal axis of the beam. Means, whenever the load is acting in such a way that its direction is perpendicular to the longitudinal axis of the beam. Whenever such kind of load will be acting onto it, such kind of load is come to be the transverse load. Okay, so this was the transverse. Moving towards the next, that is the shear. What is shear? Let's discuss. Basically, it is an unbalanced force on either side of the section, parallel to the cross section of the. Okay, so it is an unbalanced force which is on either side of the section and which is parallel to the particularly cross section. So this was the shear. Next definition is the moment. Moment is very much important for our analysis and also in design also. So students should know that what is the moment. Basically, it is the product of the force and the perpendicular distance between the line of action of the force and the point about which the moment is required to be calculated. In summarized way or in a short, we can say that it is nothing but the product of force and distance. Particular distance is the perpendicular distance between the line of the action of the force and the point about which the moment is required to be calculated. That is also termed as the lever arm. So, definition can be also in such a way that it is nothing but a product of force and the lever arm. Product of force and lever arm will give us this moment. Now let's discuss what is bending moment. Bending moment is an unbalanced moment on either side of a section in the plane of the. It is an unbalanced moment on either side of this section, but it will be in the plane of the. So these are all the definitions that is required. Now let's discuss different types of load. So here you can see that there are mainly 5 types of. The first load you can see over here is the point load. We can also say that it can be a concentrated load that will be acting on a particular concentrated point, or we can say that it is acting on a particular point. The figure, in the first figure A, you can see that there is a horizontal beam that is denoted by a line which has the 2 supports, that is A and B, and it has 3-point load. Means the point load will be at a particular point only. It is a concentrated load that will be particular. It will be acting on a particular point only. You can see over here that there are 3 points. Okay. Next type of load is uniformly distributing. Means we can say that uniformly distributed load is the load that will be along the span of the beam and its intensity will be uniform. For example, if the intensity of the loading is 4 kilonewton per meter, then for the particular span, for a particular span of the beam, the intensity will be uniform only. Means, for example, if the intensity is 4 kilonewton per meter, it will be uniform for the whole span of the beam. Yes, that is the UDL. Okay. Uniformly loaded distribution over a wide area. It means the load will be having a uniform distribution for the wide area. Rate of loading per unit. Its unit will be rate per unit. Here you can see that there is a UDL in figure number B, okay, where the support is A and B, and we have the UDL which is being starting from C and it is ending from D. Intensity will be W per meter length. Okay. This is how the UDL is. Moving towards the next, that is the uniformly varying load. We can also say that this is a triangular distributed load. Basically, in UVL, in short, we can say it as a UVL. This intensity of the load at one point to that at other will be different. You can see over here that uniformly varying load means the intensity at one point will be different in comparison or in comparison to the another. Means you can say that from here, from the figure, see, you can see that the intensity of the loading will be W1 by M at point M and it will be different at another, that is W2 by M. Okay. So that is what how the UPL is. Now moving towards the next type of loading, that is the couple. Okay. A beam may be subjected to a couple. Means at a beam, at any point, the moment will be active. You can see over here that there is a circular arrow that will be denoting the couple. Last type of loading is the oblique. From the name only, it says that the load will be at some oblique. It will be at some degree with respect to the horizontal surface. The effect of the horizontal component is to cause the thrust in the beam. Means the load will be acting at some load and we have to find its component. Horizontal component also and vertical component. The vertical component of the load will cause the bending and the shear and are treated as a usual vertical load. You have to get the horizontal vertical component of this oblique load, and because of this vertical component, the bending and the shear will be also. The horizontal component will be only causing the thrust. Okay, so here are all the 5 types of. Next is types of supports. Basically, there are 5 types of supports. You can see over here. First is the knife edge support. You can see over here that there is a knife edge support in figure number A. Basically, the contact area insignificant provides only the vertical reaction. It will not provide the resistance to the turning or the lateral displacement. It will be only providing resistance to vertical reaction. Next is roller support. Means in a horizontal plane only. So basically rollers on a horizontal plane will support the reaction in vertical direction only. It will not have any kind of the resistance to the turning or the lateral displacement. Next is the roller, but in inclined plane. Basically, the rollers or inclined plane mainly support the reaction in a perpendicular to the plane. Inclined plane means it will be only providing resistance to the plane which is or means we can say that perpendicular to the inclined. You can see over here that there is an inclined roller whose direction perpendicular to is in R. So it will be only resisting the load or the force which is parallel to R. Okay. It will allow turning or a lateral. Next type is hinge or a pin support. Basically, the hinge or a pin support will be allowing turning but doesn't allow any kind of an lateral movement. No lateral movement will be allowed. It is mainly supporting the reaction that could be in any direction. It can resist any kind of a reaction which is in any direction. It can be determined by resolving the applied in horizontal and vertical direction. It's resolved by in both horizontal and the vertical direction. And last is the fixer. It doesn't allow any kind of the rotation or a translation. It is just fixed. It is very much rigid. It's the most rigid type of system. It will not allow any kind of displacement, either rotation nor a displacement. It will be fixed. Going towards the next, that is the different types of beam. So basically 5 types of beams are there. First is the cantilever. From the figure only you can say that, you can see that there is a fixed support and there is a horizontal beam which is projecting from the fixed. Mainly the beams have one end rigidity built in the support. It is only a one end large span or a heavy load provided by the additional support are known as the prop. Means whenever the beam length is large, support will be provided. So whenever this kind of support are provided, it is termed as the prop. Okay. Next is simply supported. Means whenever the knife edge supports or a roller supports are being provided in a beam, then such kind of beam is termed to be a simply supported. You can see over here in figure number B, there is a two simply supported. Over that, over concentrated loads. Okay. Next is beams with an overhang. So basically, the portion of a beam that goes beyond the support is called the overhang. Whenever the beam is projecting ahead of the supports or it is moving far from the supports, then that portion will be termed as the overhang. One or two. Next is fixed. Means at both the ends of the beam, the supports are 100% fixed. Rigidly built-in supports at both the ends are the fixed beam. Beams have support reactions and a fixing moment. Whenever the beams are having the fixed support, it will be having the reactions, the fixed end. Last type of beam is the continuous beams that cover the over more than one span. Beams that cover more than one spans are termed to be the continuous. Means whenever the beam is moving or it is passing through more than one span, then we can say that such kind of beam. Okay. So let's discuss how the bendings in the beam used to be. Both shear force and bending moment are the vector quantity, requiring a convention of sign in order to value, or we can say that in order that the values of the opposite senses may be separate. Mathematical signs are chosen since it is in a calculation. So it is necessary to have a proper mathematical sign. Okay. So basically, the shear force are being denoted by Q, B or S. You can use any of the symbol. And bending moment is generally being designated by a symbol capital F. Okay, so you can see sign convention over here. The left side in downward direction, the shear force is acting, then it is in it is termed as positive, and on the right side, if the shear force is positive, means it is in vertical direction, that is also. But if on the left side, if the shear force is vertical direction, that is termed as negative. On the right side, if the shear force is downward direction, then it is also termed as positive. Basically, the units of the shear force is Newton or kilo. Now talking about bending moment. So if on the left hand side of the joint, if we have the clockwise moment, it is termed as positive, and on the right hand side of the joint, if we have the anti-clockwise movement, it is also termed as positive bending moment. But if on the left side, if we are having the anti-clockwise moment, then it is termed as negative moment, and on the right side, if we have the clockwise movement, it is also termed as the negative. The units in which the bending moments are designated is in Newton mm or kilonewton meter. The shear force at any transverse section in a loaded beam is an algebraic sum of all the forces acting on either side of the section. The bending moment at any transverse section in a loaded beam is an algebraic sum of the moment about the section of all the forces acting in one or either side of the section. Basically, here says that the shear force at any section will be nothing but it is the algebraic sum of all the forces that is acting in the section. And the similar way, the bending moment is also in the same way. At any transverse section in a loaded beam, it is an algebraic sum of the moments about that particular section. Means all the moments that is being caused by the forces that is acting onto it will be the bend. You can see over here that we have the span A and B, over which we have a cross section that is XX. Okay. So on the left hand side of the X we have B1, B2 and B3, and on the right side of the X we have B4. So working to the left side of the X, if we want to find the shear force at the X, then it will be equal to the RA, means the reaction at A minus all the load, that is V1, RA minus V1 minus V2. Talking about the moment at the X with respect to the left will be equal to RA into A, means the distance from the support A will be capital only A. Distance of V1 to the X portion is A1, distance of V2 to the X point is A2, and V3 is A. So similarly we will be finding the moment. Okay. So mx will be equal to RA into A minus V1 into A1 minus V2 into A2 and minus V3. This way we can find the moment at the X with respect to the left. Now talking about the right hand side. So we can also find the reaction with respect to the right hand. That will be equal to minus RB plus V4. On the right hand side there is only one force, that is V4, and we have the one reaction RB. So minus RB plus, and moment will be in such a way that RB into B, distance from B, X is so RB into B minus V4 into. In this way we can find the bending moment. We are giving it to this only. Thanks for attending this.
So here we are ending our session. Hope you have liked the session. We have discussed each and every topic in brief and also in detail. We have discussed each and every topic's practical application also. So thank you for attending the session. And if you have any kind of a doubt, if you have any kind of a query, then you can send me your doubts and queries in mail. My mail is in my YouTube channel. Do check into my YouTube channel. Like it, share it, and again, thank you for attending this session. See you in the next session. Thank you.